Kristen Gilbert, a former nurse at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center, was convicted of murdering 4 veterans in the early 1990s, and was persuaded to try to kill 2 more hospital patients, and was suspected of killing dozens more. Years of childhood. Kristine Heather Strickland was born on November 13, 1967, to Richard and Claudia Strickland. She was the eldest of the children, and the family moved from Val River to Groton, Massachusetts. She is linked to serial killer Lizzie Borden, threatening to commit suicide when she is angry, and according to court records, she had a history of threatening violence. Nursing profession. In 1988, Kristine received her degree as a registered nurse from Greenfield Community College, and in the same year she married Glenn Gilbert, whom she met at Hampton Beach, New Hampshire in March 1989, where she obtained a job at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Northampton, Massachusetts. The couple bought a house and settled in their new lives. Kristine seemed committed to her job, remembering the birthday of her classmates and exchanging gifts during the holidays with her. She looked social, and her superiors classified her as highly skilled. In late 1990, her first child came, and after returning from maternity leave, she changed working hours from 4 p.m. until midnight. Almost immediately, strange things started to happen and patients started dying during their shift, and the mortality rate at the medical center increased during the 3 years before the discovery of the crimes.
After the birth of the second child in 1993, the couple's marriage appeared to falter, and Kristine was developing a friendship with James B. Roll, a security guard at the hospital. At the end of 1994, she left Gilbert, who had a relationship with B. Roll, and moved to her own apartment and continued to work at Virginia Hospital. Killings. Krisen's colleagues began to quarrel over deaths that seemed to always occur during her seizure. Although many of the patients who died were elderly or in poor health, there were also patients who had no medical history such as heart problems, but were dying due to cardiac arrest. At the same time began to supply ephedrine, a drug likely to cause heart failure, to be lost. In late 1995 and early 1996, 4 patients under Gilbert's care died of cardiac arrest. Ephedrine was the suspected cause, and after 3 of Gilbert's colleagues expressed fears of possible involvement, an investigation was opened shortly after at the Virginia Hospital, noting the injuries she sustained while working. By the summer of 1996, Gilbert and her boyfriend's relationship became strained. In September, federal authorities investigated the hospital's deaths with Barley, and on September 26, while working at Virginia Hospital, Barley received a phone call from someone who said he had planted 3 bombs in the hospital. Police, but no explosives were found. Similar threats were made to the hospital the next day until the 30th day, all during B. Roll's seizures. It was not long before the police linked Gilbert to the calls. He was tried and convicted in January 1998 on charges of threatening a bomb and sentenced to 15 months in prison. Meanwhile, federal researchers were approaching Gilbert's connection to the deaths of patients at Virginia Hospital. In November 1998, Gilbert's trial for murder began in the deaths of Henry Houghton, Kenneth Kane, and Edward Squira, as well as attempted murders of other patients, Thomas Callahan and Angelo Villa. In May, Gilbert was also charged with the death of patient Stanley Yagodowski. The trial began in November 2000, and according to prosecutors, Gilbert committed the murders because she was distracted and wanted to spend some time with her boyfriend. During 7 years in the hospital, prosecutors said Gilbert was on duty when more than half of the 350 recorded patient deaths occurred. Defense lawyers responded that Gilbert was innocent and that her patients died of natural causes. On March 14, 2001, the jury found that Gilbert was guilty of first-degree murder in 3 cases and second-degree murder in another. Gilbert remains in federal prison in Texas.